Hello everybody, welcome to this overdue video, which is a catch-uppy thingy. I am very sorry that I have not been making videos of late. This is for two reasons. One is my, let me call it, recalcitrant body. I'd like to say that life gets in the way, but it's more like my body gets in the way, and it has been particularly badly behaved of late, and it has been very difficult to do anything at all. But I have also been trying to update my latest tarot card from the Wild Spirit revamp, more on which anon. But first, I thought I would introduce you to something that I have been doing, which is really a shame as I'm looking through the viewfinder here, because the colours from what I'm actually looking at with my physical eyes and what I'm looking at through this viewfinder, it's taken all the colour out of it. I don't know why, I don't know how to do anything about that, but I hope when this translates onto your screen that you're not losing the colour, because it seems like it's bleached at least half of it out for some reason. The colours I'm looking at are really vibrant. These are, anyway, my autumn necklaces, and I am hoping that somebody watching this would perhaps like to have one of these. I have made them for anybody who would like one. They're not for me, they are for you if you are interested, and I will try and give you a closer tour. The first two are their Autumn Fairy, because they've both got these vintage little copper fairy charms. I only had two of these. All of the charms, the cabochons, the beads, everything in these are vintage. They're either from the 1950s or around then, and they're from Japan mostly, some of them from Germany, some of them are from unknown origin. They came from America, but they are all vintage, and they are all they've never been used before, but they are all vintage. They're not anything that you could buy in a shop, and that's what I love about them. They're all unique. A lot of them are hand painted. You can see the centres of these daisy charms here. They've got yellow, they've been hand painted yellow. They're just lovely, lovely, unique individual pieces. They're all a bit wonky and quirky, and they're not churned out as they are now. They've all been slightly, they're all unique. Again, my words have flown away when the video is on. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say, don't you? So, these two, top one and bottom one, are the Autumn Fairy variation, because this one also has fairy. And there are leaves, and everything is in autumn hues. We have these beautiful little glass ones here that look like berries with filigree top. Nice word, filigree, isn't it? And lots of them look like the dangles, the charms look like berries, or some things you would find in an autumn hedgerow. That is the whole point of these necklaces. As well as the colour, which is not really picking up, unfortunately. Just take my word for it, these are at least 50% brighter than you're seeing, I think. All of these beads were put together by hand. It didn't come in a big chain. I've connected them all myself with love, because I absolutely love doing these, and I hope that they will find a home. The one underneath is slightly different, although it has still has the leaf and the heart. It has a daisy in the centre, and it does not have a fairy because I only had two fairies, but it does have these beautiful roses instead, and leaves, and more daisies, and so forth. And the one at the bottom is different again. I wanted to make one that was a little bit more delicate. It hasn't got the big chunky amber, they're not amber, they're sort of russet toned faceted beads on it. It's got more dainty copper coloured and pearlized beads. They're quite small. It has a dark purple damson rose in the centre with leaves and roses and dangles and so forth. And I will just give you a little tour. I will try and say, I mean, you can, if you are interested in any of these, you can say I would like the top one or the middle one, or pick out any details of them. But the differences are that the top one has a metallic purple leaf. The second fairy one has a deep crimson, sort of slightly pearlized leaf. The next one down has the daisy, and the bottom one has the dainty chain, so you should be able to say which is which. Now, I am only going to be charging for the materials that I've used here, and for the postage I'm not going to be charging what I would charge in the future for if I was selling these in a different way. At the moment I'm not doing that. I'm just doing that for people who watch my videos and who might like one of my necklaces, one of these lovely autumn necklaces. So I am going to be just doing them. So I should have thought of the price before I did this. I will try and leave it in the description below, so that if you are interested, you are not put off because you don't know how much I'm charging. But I am not going to add in anything for my time, because I just love doing them, and if it goes to one of you wonderful people who watch my videos, I will be very happy. So that's that. While I'm on the subject of craftiness, I'm going to have to do one of my great unprofessional swings around here to show you. No, the camera's going to go, no, I don't want to do this because we're focusing in a different direction, the light's all different, and it's gone a bit weird. Hopefully it'll readjust. This is the cushion. Back off a little bit. This is the cushion that I said I was going to make from this ball of wool, which was about 4 times the size when it started off. And I have made this for Debbie. I can't say the second bit because I haven't got it written down in front of me. Debbie Doobie, you know who you are, Debbie. This is for you if you want it. And there is a second one being made here. This is the second one with all the lovely textures of the sea and the air, those evocative colours that you could see in the video that I made about the gigantic ball of yarn. There it is. Here it is in translation. And as you can see, I have managed to get some vintage buttons, some of which came from the most wonderful cat who runs Artfix, which is a shop locally, but she also has a web presence, an Instagram account and a YouTube account, and I will leave her links too, because her work, her own artwork, as well as the things that she sells, are just fabulous, and she is a superb person and deserves your support. And she kindly gave me some of these vintage buttons, which was rather marvellous. And they fitted in perfectly because they evoke pebbles and shells. They're either mother of pearl type, or they look like something you'd find on a riverbed or washed up on a beach. This one I just chose because it was just a beautiful watery shiny colour. Another pearlized one there. And what I do around the buttons, and this one with, I can't go quite far over there because I'm going to end up hitting something I don't really want to include in the video, but you get the gist, I hope. What I do is I wrap other pieces of yarn around the buttons. You can see here's one, different pieces that look like strands of river weed or something that would have been picked up by the sea, so that you get more texture on the cushion. This is an art cushion rather than something that you would just get, and they are all individual. This next one that I'm making will be, you know, although the yarn is mostly different, it comes out, I don't wrap it in exactly the same way, so you get variations in the colours and the textures, and also the buttons will be different, and I'll use different yarns, so they're all different, and they're sort of art pieces because they evoke something. They're not just about being a cushion, and although obviously they are a cushion at the same time. Yeah, I think you get my gist. Again, drift. Get my drift. That's better for this because it's got drifty it hasn't got driftwood, but you know, it's got things that might have been cast up on a shore. And while I was doing that, I revamped one of my other cushions here with some of the vintage buttons, because I didn't like the modern buttons at all. I didn't think they lent anything to the design, and now I've got ones that look much more in keeping. And I just love this yarn. This is one that I'm keeping because I just love it. It's like lichen, it's like things growing, and it's rather lovely. And here is another one as well, which you can just see part of, and I will zoom in. I absolutely love making these. It is a funny thing though, but because since I've started doing this and showing them and being more public about it, I've noticed that the yarn has started to disappear from the shops. Now I'm not saying that's anything to do with me, because I get them all from charity shops second hand. All of this yarn is reused, it's pre-loved, it's been given to thrift or charity shops, and I've noticed that the supplies have suddenly dried up. And I found this quite a lot throughout my life, that when I start doing something, it's like it sort of goes out into the ether, and other people catch on or start doing it without them even, I don't know. Everything's connected, isn't it? Which is something I'm going to come on to next. But anyway, I've had a bit of a shortage of yarn at the moment, so I am really happy to make as many of these as possible. I love making them. I would love you to say if you'd like me to make you one, but at the moment I haven't got any more yarn except for this one here. Now somebody did ask me for the other one of these, and I can't remember who it was. If that's you, can you let me know, because it's nearly ready and I can't remember. I'm really sorry. Don't take that personally. I just know that this one was for Debbie, and if Debbie doesn't want it, that's absolutely fine, because all she could see was this ball of yarn, and when it's finished it might not be to her taste. So I'll let you know. But if you do want it, Debbie, let me know. And again, I'm only charging for the materials and the postage, and I have to say it's rather a large fellow, this cushion. Oh, and before I forget, we had a conversation, you and I mean all of you people that were listening, and in the comments of the video that I did do about the cushions, when I was talking about what could be a collective noun for cushions, like a comfy of cushions, and I came up with this word clouder, a clouder of cushions, because they're cloudy, cloud, soft, fluffy. But I think that's a collective noun for kittens or cats. But I mean, can we have a clouder of cushions as well? I think that sounds really lovely. Moving on with a bad bit of unprofessionalism. Whoa, there we go. Right, as I was just saying, remember this postcard from another video? Everything is connected in life. Well, I've had 2 more proofs of this happening before I talk about anything else. First one is, I read a lot. I have at least 3 books on the go, and one of them is usually a non-fiction book, autobiographies or biographies or whatever. Quite a while ago I read Marianne Faithfull's autobiography, and then very recently I read Debbie Harry. And both of them mentioned an artist called Valley Myers, who really fascinated me. They talked about her in such glowing terms, and she sounded so incredibly intriguing, but I never actually managed to look her up. So when I read the Debbie Harry book recently, I thought, now I must look up Valley Myers, because she's sort of pinging something in me. I must find out. And then it's okay to mention this, because I did ask Roanne, good friend of mine and somebody who watches my videos, hello, sent me a gift and didn't say what it was. And when it arrived, I could see that it was probably a book, but I didn't open it straight away. But when I did, I found, and I hadn't mentioned Valley Myers to anybody, that was just in my head. This arrived. Nightflower, which is the life and art of Valley Myers. And now you can see, my friends, why I was so fascinated to find this woman, and the synchronicity of this, and the connection that how Rowan intuited this out of the ether and sent this to me at the same time was quite breathtaking. It was one of those that was just that really is beyond anything. I was so thrilled to get this book, but I was also so thrilled to have yet more proof that everything is deeply connected, and we're living in such an interactive reality. I think it should be much more interactive than it actually is, but that's for another story, another video, another conversation. For now, let's just have a little look at Valley, because I would like you to discover her too. Although I love this picture, I am not sure about holding a barn owl up. Like, I don't know. This woman had an extraordinary connection with animals. She has an animal. She had, unfortunately, Valley is no longer with us and hasn't been since 2003. But she ran or had an animal. What turned into an animal sanctuary. It was originally just her living with dozens and dozens and dozens of animals. So she had an extraordinary connection, especially with a fox, and I can't criticise her in any shape or form about that, but I just feel a little bit uneasy with her holding this barn owl. It looks slightly like it's a toy. I'm sure if the owl was unhappy, it would have really let her know about it, because, you know, it's a wild creature that's extremely feisty, that seems completely docile and happy to be held up like that. So I can't really say anything else. It just made me feel a little bit, don't think I'd be doing that with an owl personally. Anyway, that's just me. Let's open the book. So, who wouldn't be fascinated by this person? This is Valley in her cave at Positano in Italy, one of the many places that she lived. The life of this woman, I want you to find out about her yourselves, rather than me doing a whole potted history of her, because I don't think I could do her justice. She did so much. She just was absolutely the embodiment of a wild spirit. She really was. And one of the things I love about her is her colour. With the wild spirit revamp especially, one of the things that's really struck me is the fact that I want to make it as beautiful as I can. With the Everyday Enchantment deck, that wasn't the main drive, but with this one it is, and I want to make it as rich and colourful as I possibly can. And that's what I love about this woman, is that she made herself into a piece of beautiful, colourful, living art. And here is the second synchronicitous thing, not as major as the first one, but here is Valley with one of her hens, and here she is with a toad. Those are real tattoos. Now, I hadn't really taken that on board when I'd read the books about her previous, the mentions in the books that Marianne Faithfull and Debbie Harry made. I hadn't realised that she'd actually tattooed her face in that way, and that was, it's sort of shocking, but it's also incredibly natural thing for her to do. And then it just rang another bell with me that I was talking to you in the other video about my revamp of this card. I'm wondering whether I should put, sorry if the light's shining on it, I haven't taken it out of its folder, wondering if I should put these blue tattoos on the wise woman's face, and I decided to leave them in. They're there, and there's some on her forehead as well. They're blue markings. And then I found a woman who I would consider to be a wise woman, a wild wise woman, had actually marked her face with blue as well. So that was another connection there. Where's that? Me and my blimmin' professional page markings. The thing about Valley was not that she just lived this extraordinary life, looked after dozens of animals, travelled all over the world, met the most incredible selection of people, but also that she was an artist of incredible skill, great delicacy. She worked with the finest nib on a pen that she could, but she transposed it onto a feather, so it was incredibly light and sensual to use in her hand. And then she did these absolutely extraordinary, let's have a look, extraordinarily detailed, delicate pieces. When Salvador Dali looked at them through a magnifying glass, he was very impressed with the quality. I mean, these are world-class quality pieces of art, and some of them took her years. I mean, absolutely meticulous detail, very just I could go through this whole book, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to encourage you to find what you can about her if you're interested. This is just a taster. I've been introduced to her. I thank Roanne for introducing me to her properly, and I hope that this will encourage you to find out more. It's not that easy in terms of finding videos or books. This book came from Australia, which is where Valley was from, although she didn't go back there until much later on in her life. She lived all over the world. What was I saying? Yeah, I've lost my thread. Let's just look at one of her pictures for a minute. Look at that. Look at that exquisite dog. The quality of the line and the gentle, absolutely stunning. And her whole life was about this. Her whole life was about art. She was art. She lived and breathed art. Everything was art. But she also cared for the creatures around her and for the people around her. She was just absolutely amazing. She might be a little bit much for some people, but I find her utterly charming. She's so fey, she's otherworldly, she's not afraid. Again, those comments that I made about other people, she's not afraid. And I've just realised that I've talked for ages and I haven't even said the rest of it. No! Quickly, very quickly. So easy to talk to, you see. Right, there's one thing I wanted to say very quickly. Oh, I'm not going to have time. Okay, I'm just going to have to mention this in my next video. That was going to be my third coincidence, but I'm on to 23 minutes, so I will have to make another video soon. I'm trying to catch up with my comments very, very hard, but bear with me. It's been more difficult than usual, but I am trying and I will do it, I promise. And I have another video coming up about this revamp, and I will talk about these things in it, and I will have to go now. Lots of love. Thanks for bearing with me. I had no idea I had talked for so long. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, lots of love for now. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now. Bye.